You call it Monday night, we call it the Magic Monday, but it's game on here on News Central Television. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Babatunde Koiki. Warm welcome to you wherever you are in the world joining us. What promises to be the finest 1 hour in sports anywhere on the African continent. Welcome once again. Of course, you already know we're streaming live on our social media platforms, X and YouTube especially, and you can also join the conversation using all the other handles on your screen. The handle is at News Central TV. Welcome once again. I'm sure you've had a wonderful weekend of sports, and if you're an Arsenal fan, I'm sure that you are still keeping hope alive, because yes, indeed, hope is still alive. We'll be talking about the English Premier League later on in the show, but we have quite a packed show for you. We're talking about crisis in the Cameroonian football, to be or not to be. Will they have a new coach? Will they have assistants to that coach? Who is going to bring in the assistants to the coach? Is it going to be the Federation or the Ministry of Sports? We'll also be talking about Nigerian athletics as well. Also, Vasily High-Tech Lomachenko became IBF lightweight champion across the weekend as well. So much more to talk about in the world of sports today. But before we get into the action proper, it is always a very tough show when I have these two people on the show, because their names are too similar. There's Onyinyechi Obaro to my immediate right, looking very radiant as well. Thank you so much, Onyinye. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. You bring a certain brightness to the show.
Oh, thank you. That's what the ladies do.
Oh, yes. There you go. And of course, sitting right beside her, I'm not particularly pleased with those compliments, because he always wants compliments himself. But I can tell you that he's one of the finest journalists in Nigeria. He's also the deputy editor of one of Nigeria's flagship publications. I'm talking about Sport in Life. He's none other than Onyewuchi Nwachukwu. Please smile. At least I paid you a compliment.
No, I hope you're not going to bite your tongue.
Oh no, I see. Something will have to happen.
You are struggling with the name.
I'm thinking maybe both of you have to wear name tags.
It's very simple.
Or carry small placards.
Onyinyechi, yes.
God's gift.
Okay, Onyinyechi.
Onyinyechi.
Yes,
Onyewuchi.
Onyewuchi.
Okay.
It's simple.
That's God's present.
No.
I mean, okay, I'll ask after the show. But thank you guys for joining us on the show. Promises to be very, very entertaining. And we really have to start in the most interesting way possible. Of course, you do know that the Nigerian football fraternity are also celebrating the fact that we do have a substantive coach in Nigerian football. But over in Cameroon, it is drama like you cannot believe. First, FECAFOOT, headed by former African Footballer of the Year, Samuel Lyonga, wanted another coach. But no, the authorities, the Ministry of Sports and the presidency hired a coach and imposed it upon FECAFOOT. Now, they also brought in assistants for that coach as well. But FECAFOOT are fired back, thrown out those coaches and given their own list of assistant coaches. We do not know who's going to blink first, but I think both sides have reached some kind of accord. They've agreed on the coach. The question is, who will be his assistant? And joining us all the way from Yaoundé, Cameroon, to break that down for us is one of Cameroon's finest as well. He's sports editor of Cameroon Radio and TV, Simon Lyonga, experienced football sports journalist. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on Game On.
Baba, welcome to Cameroon. A very, very solid situation we have out here.
No. So I always think that Nigerian football is chaotic, but Cameroon football these days is absolutely something else. So first and foremost, okay, let's start this way. Who is Marc Brys, this new Belgian coach? Who is he?
Well, before I talk about Marc Brys, permit me say hello to my fellow panelists, okay, especially the lady who is looking so radiant.
Why especially?
Because she's looking so radiant.
Okay.
She's bringing so much light on the set this evening.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, Marc Brys is, let me say, an unknown entity when it comes to football, global football. Marc Brys has been a coach who has never won anything great in football. Marc Brys has been a Belgian coach who's been in the Belgian top tier, but has never won a championship title. Let me say Marc Brys is just that coach who had the luck of winning a Belgian football trophy, that is the National Cup out there. And so he was brought into Cameroon by the Minister of Sports and Physical Education, like you have said in the beginning. And you remember when they were talking about a short list of players that were being interviewed for the top job in Cameroon. Nobody ever thought of a coach like Marc Brys. Reasons why when he was appointed coach of Cameroon by the Cameroon Sports Minister, people had to run back to Google. People had to run back to their contacts. Who is this guy? All the scripts that we had prepared for the other coaches, the pressmen preparing scripts and so on, that, okay, if it's this is what we're going to say, everybody was taken aback when it was Marc Brys was appointed. Okay, we say he has been appointed, let's take him. But of course, there's this imbroglio, there's this problem, this wahala, like they call it out there in Nigeria, between the Ministry of Sports representing the government and, of course, FECAFOOT, represented by the former 4 times African Player of the Year, Samuel Eto'o. The brawl is still going on.
It's interesting because in Africa here, we always have what we call, we're not sure which one it is. Is it government interference or government intervention? We never really know how to define it. It depends on which side of the fence you're sitting on. But I think Oyewuchi has a question.
Yeah, hello, my friend. My question is very simple.
Brother.
Yeah, it's very simple.
Sorry for not saying that you are also ready.
Oh, thank you.
A compliment. At least you're happy now. Eh?
Thank you. My question is simple. This is not the first time that Cameroon will be having issues, the FECAFOOT officials and the sports ministry. So why is this different? Is it because Samuel Eto'o is a towering figure, is somebody is an icon? So why is this one different? Why is FECAFOOT now flexing muscles, supposedly, with the sports ministry? And secondly, we wanted to clarify, give clarity to this statement that Paul Biya, the president of Cameroon, was the one that imposed this coach on FECAFOOT. We've heard a lot of things, but the main question is, why is this different? Why you always have problem when you want to appoint a coach in Cameroon?
Yes, let me answer. Let me begin from the second question. I will not use the word imposed. Now, this is what happens. There was a presidential decree in Cameroon in 2014 that gives modalities of the management of the national football teams of Cameroon. Unfortunately, that decree does not carry any article that talks about the appointment of coaches of the national team. And so after the disgraceful outing at the World Cup in 2014 in Brazil, the various stakeholders came back and sat and signed a convention. And in that convention, it is clearly stated how the national team coaches of Cameroon can be appointed. And there are 2 clauses. The first clause says it is on proposal of the National Football Federation, FECAFOOT, with an obligatory signature of the Ministry of Sports. That is the first clause. The second clause says it is the Minister of Sports who appoints and puts those coaches at the disposal of the national team. So it is either the first or the second. So if the president of FECAFOOT proposes to the ministry, it is accepted. If the ministry also appoints and puts those coaches, give those coaches to the federation, it is also appointed.
I see.
It is also accepted, sorry. So those are the clauses of that convention signed between FECAFOOT and the Ministry of Sports.
Okay, that's very clear.
Now, let me just finish. Now, on the 10th of February this year, the President of the Republic had a speech to the nation, let me say a state of the address, because the 11th of February in Cameroon is the Youth Day, and so it is traditional here that the president talks to the youth on the eve of their day. On that day, during his speech, he said that he is very disappointed with Cameroon's performance at the African Cup of Nations, at the AFCON in Cote d'Ivoire, and that the government is going to take measures to see into it that things are done better. And he said the government is spending so much money with the national team that they cannot let it go like that. It is after that speech that the ministry swung into action and brought in Marc Brys. Now, the first question you asked is, why is it that there is this problem between FECAFOOT? It has always existed between FECAFOOT and the sports ministry. Unfortunately for many people, with the conflict has never been as it is this time around. Past presidents of FECAFOOT have always been in conflict with sports ministers, but it has never been in public. This time around, remember Cameroon hosted the AFCON before Cote d'Ivoire, and they won the bronze medal. They had the bronze medal finish. After that competition, the Minister of Sports came on national TV and announced that Cameroon was going to continue with the former coach, that's Hugo Brys. The next day, the president of the FA, that's Samuel Eto'o, who was just a few months old with the FA, came on social media and the FECAFOOT television and announced that the minister should know that the national team is the property of FECAFOOT and not the sports ministry. And so whatever the minister said, that's his own problem. He Samuel Eto'o, was going to announce his own coach, and he announced the appointment of Rigobert Song. And the public saluted. Everybody was like, yes, now we'll have a messiah, we'll have somebody who can challenge the government, and this is good. That is how it all started. So now that the minister is also doing it, the other people who felt left out in the previous decision are saying, okay, this is our own time. Let the minister also do this to Samuel. So Samuel has been paid in his own coin. His own
coin, okay. Very, 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 very clear. Onyinye, you have a question as well?
Yes, I do. With all these that you have said right now, does it seem like there is a vote of no confidence against Samuel Eto'o? We hear that he's got an authoritative style of administration in the FECAFOOT. We also heard about Njala Chan and how he had to resign. With news coming in that Marc also said Eto'o has been banned from the locker room. Please give us clarity on this. Is that a vote of no confidence against Samuel Eto'o from the FECAFOOT?
Yes, I'm one of those journalists in Cameroon who cut across generations, because as a reporter on the field, I covered the national team in most of their outings around the world with Samuel Eto'o as a player, and I'm also there covering with Samuel Eto'o as the FA president. And I tell you, take this from me, he has not changed. He has always been high-handed. He has always been arrogant. He has always wanted things to be done his own way. And that is the exact problem he has with members of the executive committee of his FA. And that was the reason why Njala Kwan had to resign, because he got to him and told him, this is what I see, and if we continue like this, we are going to run into the wall. And Samuel told him, you are just one of my vice presidents. Stay where you are, and the day I ask you a question, you answer. If I don't ask any question, you sit quiet. And the guy said, I can't sit quiet, and that's why he resigned. Already, some other members of the executive committee are threatening to resign. He's refusing. You have the Association of Amateur Clubs that have also cut off exclusively from him. They don't want to see him anymore. We have so many football stakeholders who say they will not support him. But the General Assembly members, the members of the General Assembly, are still supporting Samuel. For the first time in Cameroon, after so many years, we saw members of the General Assembly attending the General Assembly meeting with mufflers that carry Samuel Eto'o's picture, let me say his effigy, as well as face caps that carry the picture of the national president.
Simon, but very quickly with this
on the wall.
But this finally, this it seems like there's this state of chaos currently surrounding the administration of Cameroonian football. Also, the face-off between FECAFOOT and the sports ministry. There is a danger that FIFA or might wade into this and possibly ban Cameroon. Is this a clear danger, and how is the federation trying to avoid this?
Yes, when the sports ministry appointed a coach and the deputies, the FA wrote to FIFA to suspend Cameroon. But FIFA replied in a letter that is on social media that they cannot suspend Cameroon because the FA should not forget that they signed a convention with the sports ministry, and that the FA has the right to appoint the coaches of the national team on condition that that convention is reviewed. And before that convention is reviewed, whatever the ministry does is correct. That is the major problem. And you also asked the question in the beginning, what the difference between
government interference and government intervention.
Interference and, come again?
Government interference and government intervention.
Exactly. For now, what the government is doing in Cameroon is intervention. They have not interfered. Because interference is looking into the management of the FA. If the government says, okay, we don't want the FA president, we don't want the exco, we don't want this or that, that one is government interference. Right. And then FIFA comes in with their sledgehammer without looking at anybody into the face and they hit. Okay. But now it's government intervention.
to save Cameroonian football. Okay. Simon Lyonga, sports editor of Cameroon Radio TV. Thank you so much for joining us this evening and shedding more light on Cameroonian football. We'll be keeping an eye on this, and hopefully Cameroon will avoid a FIFA ban and will get to play World Cup qualifiers next month. Of course, they'll be facing Cape Verde and Angola, two Lusophone countries, two dangerous Lusophone countries. Thank you so much for your time, Simon. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Tunde. The pious hope of every Cameroonian is that there should be sanity, because the match is just a few weeks away from now.
True.
Now we have a coach that is accepted by the FA and the government. We have a group of assistants accepted by the FA and another group of assistants accepted by the government. We don't know which group of assistants is going to assist Hugo Bros.
Hey, all of them might show up on match day. The more the merrier. But yeah, then again, too many cooks spoil the broth. But thank you so much, Simon. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Bye.
Thank you.